Barrett for News Radio WGNS, part of your Good Neighbor Network. And I'll talk to you later.
The Good Neighbor Network, on air and online at WGNSradio.com. Rutherford County's most trusted source for local news. Rutherford weather.
Bright sunshine today with daytime highs approaching 82. Clear skies again. Tonight, lows dip down to about 55. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS. Right now, 67.
SRM Concrete is the largest ready mix producer in the country, yet is still family owned and operated. Locally grown, nationally known, SRM delivers unmatched quality and service. You called, we haul. We're SRM Concrete.
Hey folks, it's Chip Walters from Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates, helping Middle Tennessee make smart moves in a fast-moving market. Whether you're buying, selling, or just exploring your options, you deserve someone who knows this community and treats your goals like their own. From first-timers to long-time homeowners, I'm here to guide you with clarity, confidence, and a steady hand. When you're ready to make the next move, start with someone you trust. Visit ChooseChip.net and let's make your 2026 move the right move.
We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at WGNSradio.com. This is the Roundtable, Tennessee Association of Broadcasters Award winner for Best Local Talk Show. A look at the news, views, politics, sports, and people shaping Rutherford County.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday morning of the Rick and Wayne show, and we've got a little bit of shake-up this morning. Wayne's not with us this week. Obviously, it's June, and we all get to have vacations and things, so this is Wayne's week. Mine will be in a couple weeks, but he's out enjoying some days this week with his grandkids, and I wish him the best on that, but it's all right. I got a full house here of people in, and I'm looking forward to today. Today's kind of a special day. It's a anniversary of not the kind of anniversary you ever want to have, but we want to tell a little story today, but I'm going to get straight into who we have here with us today. And I've got with the town of Smyrna, the mayor, Mary Esther Reed, who, class of 89. Wayne and I laugh a lot about that, but we have a lot of 89s, it seems like. But yes. And I have Amber Hobbs. You're the county or the town city clerk.
Town clerk.
I'm on the county commission. I'm down the county clerk, aren't I? And retiree here, 2 years now? Mm-hmm. Kelly Geer with us as well from our other county schools, and she's enjoying her retirement. We got to talk beforehand and catch up a little bit. But good morning, guys. How are y'all?
Good morning.
Wonderful. So, yes. Mary Esther, start us off. Why are we here today?
Today is a day 10 years ago that we woke up and were not expecting. It was the practice day for the Great Tennessee Air Show, and it was the day that Captain Jeff Kuss's plane went down.
That's right.
And there are many things, I think, in life that you remember where you were, who you were with, and for people who live in the town of Smyrna, this is one of those days. And it was a day that was a tragedy, but also a day that started a movement of a community coming together to do something that I think has been so impactful and something that we are so proud of in the town of Smyrna with the Captain Jeff Kuss Memorial. And it's also brought not only the community together, but it's tied us to Durango, it's tied us to Pensacola, it's created an even stronger bond that we've had with the Blue Angels since the 70s when they originally started flying at the air show in Smyrna. So it is a tragedy, but I will say the things that have happened over the past 10 years are something I'm really proud of, being from the town of Smyrna, and the relationships we've built are something that I hold dear. I hate the reason that they were formed, but the relationships have been something really special.
I agree. You know, when you look at towns, you kind of look at what the landmarks are that define that town. And, you know, it's always been our little downtown area that we've got on Front Street and the train depot and things like that. But, you know, the moves made, and we're going to get into talking about how that happened, but of having that plane, the Blue Angel, now being a part of our community and sitting out there in a park and the way it sits we really don't have signs when you come into Smyrna, but you come into Smyrna when you come off that hill and see that jet sitting up there on the hill.
Absolutely. And I think individuals who come to visit the town, they see us as a small community and they see that memorial. And I think sometimes they're surprised to see something of that caliber that's been built in a community like Smyrna. And I would put it up against anything that you see across the country, whether it's in Washington, D.C. or anywhere else. It could sit anywhere in this country.
I agree.
So,
Amber, you're the brainchild of this, right? You're the one that started all this and said, follow my lead.
Well, I didn't start it, but I know when the mayor comes to me and she says, hey, we want to get something done, not only are we going to get it done, but we're going to do it well. So I think that's what this team did. You know, we formed a committee after the mayor and the council were receiving inquiries on how we were going to honor not just Jeff, but also the military. And so mayor came to us and we formed a committee, and a great committee at that. And from there, I think it was just a collective effort. It was boots on the ground and reaching out to anybody and everybody that we could that would listen, to include the National Naval Aviation Museum. And you know, after we decided that we were going to go big or go home and go for a plane, we reached out to them and went through the application process, and shortly thereafter found out that we were getting a retired jet. So, and actually the jet that you see up there at the memorial was a jet that flew that
Plane
very
two.
year when Jeff was here. So
That's right.
very symbolic, very special, and I feel like everything just aligned and fell exactly where it was supposed to, and a great team behind it that made it happen.
and just so we make sure everybody that was on the committees recognized, it was Harry Gill, myself, Rear Admiral Jimmy Taylor, who was a huge part, Jerome Dempsey, John Black, Kelly Goosetree, Emma Heck. Emma was in high school then, and she also served on the committee. Amber, Mike Moss, John Lanza, Jeff Peach, Tiffany Lawson, and Alan Brandon. So it was that small group that moved it forward. So, and you know, when you think about the fact that initially when we talked to them that they said it was going to be a 3-year wait, and we applied and we found out in September
We did.
that we had a plane coming. So to know within 3 months
Right. 90
that,
days.
oh my goodness, we have a plane coming.
Well, and even more remarkable, I remember it was supposed to have been flown in after it was retired, and then we got word that it had run out of hours, so they had to retire it without flying it back into Smyrna. So then we had to pick up and figure out how are we going to get a jet from Pensacola to Smyrna. So that was another piece in the puzzle, but it was fun, and we met some great people along the way. We had All Coast Aircraft Recovery that works with the museum down there, and they were really instrumental and great in helping us not only deconstruct and get the jet up here, put it back together, but also they came back up when it was time to mount the plane on the pedestal and took care of all of that for us too. So I was going back through just here recently all of the contacts, and it's truly remarkable how many people had hands in making this happen, from contractors to sponsors and donors, and you know, even the citizens of Smyrna and across the country. Everybody really came together.
How many people were at the vigil that night? I think that's
Hundreds.
it was
Hundreds. And the interesting thing about this is that it was an impromptu.
That's
It
exactly
was
what
it
it
was
was.
individuals that got on social media and said they wanted to get together, they wanted to be together, and Lee Victory Park was kind of the best spot to do that. And I always tell it's kind of like family. When you lose a loved one, you want to gather with your family, and I think that's what the town wanted to do as well. And so I think that started the movement of wanting to see something done. And initially, I can remember we talked about that little sculpture, and it was going to be about 15. We were looking at different artists to bring in, and I mean, literally the town was like, no, we won't accept that. That's not what we want. We want to see a plane. And so we didn't have any idea how to get a plane. And so, but, you know, it's also ironic that Jimmy Taylor lived in the town of Smyrna at the time, who was over the Blue Angels at one time, who helped
Amazing man.
and helped redline the Top Gun
Movie
script.
Yes.
And so he helped that process along as well. So, and then you add Kelly and her team, who did the educational piece to it. You know, it was all team effort.
And that's the thing about this, and I think that's great about what we're going to talk about today. It's not only that teamwork it took to get that memorial that sits out there, it's the after part that, like Kelly, you're involved in. But if you pull that mic a little bit closer and tell us a little bit about your part in all this and how it works in the committee.
That was great laid out, the way all those things happened. I will say that as much as the mayor wants to hand off the credit to everyone else, it's because we have somebody who wants to honor honorable things, and it was her driving force that continued to go back and re-look at things and pull people in and amass a team that was involved in that. And you know, no matter what the townspeople want, if you don't have leadership that, you know, has their finger on the pulse of that and wants to make those things happen, then they don't. So when I'm looking at this day 10 years later, I can't help but think this could just be a little side note today for our town. And we took what was just a tragedy and you know, found little ways, a little at a time, to continue to build this and grow it. And you know, we'll talk about the race and scholarships and all these other things that continue to surface. So I'm so humbled and honored to be a part of any of it, but I definitely lay it at the mayor's feet. We're fortunate to have her to want to see these things happen and to honor the military. And I've got a new military grandson. He's a Marine, and for a year and a half, and it makes it even more special to me knowing that Jeff was a Marine, and you know, the kind of service he put forth to, you know, to our town and to this country. So it's just been nothing but up from that point, you know, looking for new ways to honor and respect and keep that legacy going. So I'm grateful to be a part of it.
Let's talk a little bit about Jeff, who Jeff was. I mean, he was a Durango, Colorado. He's born. He's one of two boys that they lived there. I think he was the older brother, if I remember right. I remember meeting his younger brother, Eric. I remember meeting him, and great guy. He got his pilot's license at 17, so you knew he was one of these, you know, task-oriented guys, and was going to be hitting the right points if you're 17 years old and already getting your pilot's license and going on. And two, he was a Marine, so it's kind of weird for Marines to go into the Blue Angels port, which is a Navy team, but the Navy carries the Marines that fly on the aircraft carriers, so it kind of makes sense there a little bit. But give us a little background on Jeff.
So one of the things in talking to Janet was that he was so driven that he wanted to fly airplanes from a really young age. And one of the things in the documentary, and that's kind of one thing we've not talked about yet, we do have a documentary that we put out to talk a little bit about the process, but also about what our town did. And so it was nice. Janet, Amber went to Durango and with Patrick, what's Patrick's title?
Media,
our videographer.
Yes.
And so they got to sit down and meet with Janet and Michael and Christina, and got to see the kids, and they kind of gave a little bit of background. But one of the things she says in the video is, she said, you know, his hands had airplanes in them from as early as she can remember. But I think sometimes the part that we forget is what a hero he was being a Marine, the service that he had to our country in Afghanistan and other places, that all happened prior to the Blues.
That's right.
And the checkerboards was who he flew with. And a lot of people may not remember, but the day that we dedicated the memorial, they did a flyover. I mean, that doesn't happen many places, you know, and so they were jumped right in. And Amber's the one who I have these great ideas, and then I'll be like, Amber, what about this? And she's like, oh, Mayor, I don't know if we can do that.
We're still at it. Don't you
And
worry.
sometimes that's like 2 o'clock in the morning, isn't it?
It is.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, yeah, I started reaching out when we knew what the dedication date was going to be. I went all the way to Washington. I was calling
She's
anybody.
not afraid to ask.
I'm not. And we were on a roll at that point. Not
We
many
were.
people had told us no, so I felt pretty good about my odds. But the checkerboard's VMFA 312, checkerboard was his Marine unit, and they reached out and they were like, absolutely 100% we're coming. So, again, a testament to Jeff and to his character and who he was. Even to hear Christina describe him and as a husband and as a father, and just, how he was always optimistic and positive and just full of life. And, it's just, I feel like through this process, and even Janet echoed it when I was visiting them in Durango, I feel like even though we never got to meet him, like we know him through this process. And it's been a blessing all around, with Janet and Christina and the support that they've given us, through this. And one of the things that actually struck me that I learned when we went to Durango, which we had no idea, is Christina asked me, she said, how did you guys come up with the race, with the Top Gun night run? And I told her, I said, one of our town managers, Brian Hercules, he had an idea about how we could continue to maintain the memorial without a burden to taxpayers, and so came up with the Top Gun night run. And she said, that's a Jeff thing. She said that is something that he and I used to do together. She was like, we would run races together. She was like, so it's crazy to me that you guys have come up with this to be able to continue to honor his legacy, but also maintain that memorial. So it's just little things like that we find, through the moments that you're like, that's a Jeff thing,
Mike Sparks calls those God wink moments that
Yes,
there
happen
you
in a
go.
story.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But looking back over 10 years, and especially those first 2 years, I'm somewhat amazed that things fell into place like they did. You think about raising $1.4 million, getting a plane within 3 months, having to have it shipped in, which cost more money rather than flown in, and getting a memorial like that in a park at that time. That part of the park, if you remember, was all trees. I mean, it was. So we opened up a whole nother part of Lee Victory Recreation Park. To think about that in a 2-year time period is almost what I would say unrealistic if you were really putting a timeline on it. It was Landy, who is the Boeing rep, who has been such a part of this process. We actually met Landy the day that the plane was being placed on the pedestal. We see this couple that's standing down on Sam Ridley Parkway, because obviously we have it blocked because there's this large F-18 that's sitting on Sam Ridley Parkway ready to be hoisted up. And this couple's down there, and so we're like, hey, come on up. And they come up, and we find out what Landy's position was with the Blues. He was here the day of the accident, and they weren't going to be able to make the dedication, but they wanted to come up and be part of. And that started the relationship with Landy that has continued for 10 years. But one of the things he said to me the last time that he was here for the last air show, he said, so many people asked during that 2-year process, what is it this town wants? It's obvious they want something. I think we've gotten to be such a society that there must be motive behind everything. And Landy told them, you need to go visit there. They have no motive. They just want to honor heroes. They want to honor our military. And I think somewhat when we met Janet and Michael the first time, they actually came up on Thursday before we had an event on Friday night, and then the dedication was on Saturday. I think they kind of questioned that too. They kind of wanted to know, what made you all do this? Is this really for real? And I think that's one of the things that's come out of this. we sent the documentary to everybody who kind of had a part of the event of the dedication that day. I've gotten so many emails back from Blue Angels or people that were tied to Jeff, that the one thing that is woven throughout is what a wonderful community, and you don't see this everywhere across our nation. And so to be part of a community that is so military driven and patriotic makes me so proud.
I agree 100%. Well, like you said earlier, there was such an online presence. When bad things happen, being my prior police work and Britt being in it as long as he was, when we have big things that happen, it feels like at some point everybody's back. They've been knocked back on their heels and they're trying to find a way to stand back up, while we try to condition ourselves in police work as far as how we investigate and how we go forward, and those behind the scene things that people don't see, but they're seeking answers. So their way today is through social media, and that's got that ball rolling.
But when Jeff passed away, I can remember his body was in Murfreesboro, and for him coming back to Smyrna to be taken back, people lined the streets, and I think it was pouring down rain, and you saw them out with their American flags to send Jeff off. And when the plane came in, we had to work with TDOT, because originally TDOT wanted the plane to come down Sam Ridley Parkway because it was an easier straight access getting to the airport, and we were like, no, because people can't line the streets coming down Sam Ridley. So we had to get special permission. And then kind of the big joke in our committee was, we'll know we've made it if the news helicopters are flying. Well, I'll be darned if they didn't follow the plane all the way from 840 down. And I think our community was so excited to know their plane was coming home, and it was here. So,
well, and Rick, if we can, I want to circle back to Kelly, because I think she was a little humble with her responses earlier and didn't give herself enough credit. Kelly formed a full curriculum that is approved through Rutherford County Schools to get those kids just as excited for futures to come, for future generations. And Kelly, I'd love for you to talk about the field trips that come up there, and that what they learn and what you put together, so it's not just a moment that happened 10 years ago, but 20 years from now, that fabric is still sewn into Smyrna.
Well, I was very honored to be tasked with that, and I formed a little committee of teachers, and we used our reading coach, Kelly Jones, and Emily Pittman, one of my team leads, and we just kind of huddled together in the summer and worked on that, pulling up all the standards, all the things that you have to get approved by some principal somewhere to go on your field trip. So you have to meet your standards. And so we were looking through things that were, fun experiments for the kids and things they could do leading up to. So it wouldn't just be we're going to see a plane, but they'd already have a foundation before they left to understand, the military and the all the additional things that went along with that. We did, a lot of science. We could do a lot of science standards with that, and it could be a small unit or a one that is ongoing even after they came back that included writing, and it was very comprehensive. So we wanted the kids to, to have a basis for understanding more than just the plane or what it was, the service behind it, all the military standards and ideals they live by, and how you can incorporate those into your lives. And we even talked about the mayor would come to our, anytime we asked, she would come to our field trips and speak to all those kids, made time for that and answered every question, even if it was, what would my cat think if they came here? She had an answer, former educator.
That's right.
We feel like, and we also incorporated the airport with that, and they did, they gave you some basis for things too that were very interesting. So, it's been an honor to do that. We will continue to revisit that as standards change, as we all know, and we'll keep it current and up to date. But it's a great way for kids to kind of internalize that, and you can teach things in the classroom all day, but boy, when you get to go out in your own community and see something like that and take that all in, and you really learn it. It's in your core after that, so it's been great.
It's great. Well, we're coming against our first break. You're listening to the Tuesday Morning Roundtable with Rick and Wayne, and I've got great guests today, Mary Esther Reed, the mayor of Smyrna, and Amber Hobbs and Kelly Geer. But we'll take our first break and be right back with you in just a minute.
When it comes to your child's health,
you want care that's close, convenient,
and centered around the needs of your family.
At MMC Pediatrics, we're more than just doctors.
We're partners in your parenting journey.
Here for every growth spurt,
for every boo-boo,
every fever, and every flu.
Our team approach means that your child always sees someone that knows them.
We are MMC Pediatrics.
We are right beside you.
Every step of the way.
First Shot transforms Rutherford County youth. Coach Andy Herzer leads dynamic basketball camps and clinics, building skills and character since 2003. Kids dive into exciting STEM projects, sparking creativity through hands-on coding, art, and dance. They elevate their mind, spirit, and body in summer and winter programs. Visit FirstShotTN.org today to learn more. First Shot, where kids gain, elevate, and develop.
Choosing the right insurance can be overwhelming. That's where Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance comes in. At Rayburn, we're not just about policies, we're about people. Rick Hall will take the time to understand your needs and find the best coverage at the best price. We've been serving our community since 1973. So why not let Rick Hall take the stress out of insurance? Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency, where you're more than just a policy number. You're our neighbors.
You've probably never heard of Lancaster, Tennessee. It's where I grew up on our family's farm.
Now tell them the whole story, John.
That's Chelsea, my wife. And what she means is I'm the 8th generation to grow up on our farm in Smith County.
And our boys make generation number 9.
I grew crops on this land, and I grew 2 great businesses.
Now John's growing a movement in his campaign for governor.
Tennessee needs a governor with CEO experience, someone tough like Trump.
Even President Trump tells people John is fantastic, and he really is.
President Trump makes tough decisions. That's what CEOs do, and it's what I'll do as governor. With our cities booming and people moving into our state like crazy, our governor will have to make tough decisions to keep Tennessee conservative.
A CEO who's tough like Trump. Yep, that's what we need, even if I am a little biased.
I'm John Rose. I'm asking for your support.
Pretty good for a farm boy, isn't it? Paid for by John Rose for governor.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by AmeriCare Pest Control and the law offices of John Day.
This is a paid legal ad.
There are no bad questions. I would encourage anybody who has been injured and they believe it's somebody else's fault to reach out to us. There's nothing wrong with asking questions, and we're happy to give answers.
Turn left, they're there. You turn right, they're there. They was just there. And to me, they're the number one. They're the number one in the world.
Trust the lawyers other lawyers trust.
The law office of John Day, they were great.
Trust the law offices of John Day.
They saved my life.
Now, Good Neighbor Events. Here's Bart Walker.
June is busting out all over. The Parkinson Support Group meets on the first and third Friday of each month at the St. Clair Senior Center. Don't miss the Borough Art Crawl this Friday night from 5 until 8 on the historic Murfreesboro Downtown Square. Also Friday night on the square, come on by and paint a tile to be a part of the USA 250 mural mosaic. That's also on the square, Friday night, 6 until 8. And that also brings our Friday Night Live concert, 6:30 until 9:30, Friday night. It's a tribute to the Piano Men, Elton John and Billy Joel, Friday night on the east side of the historic Rutherford County Courthouse. So don't miss coming to the Murfreesboro Square this Friday night. The Secret Garden Party is also Friday night, 7 until 10 this Friday night. It benefits the Discovery Center at Murphy Spring. And that means the Secret Garden Tour is Saturday, 10 until 4 at Secret Gardens all over the community.
Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Rutherford weather.
Bright sunshine today with daytime highs approaching 82. Clear skies again tonight, lows dip down to about 55. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS. Currently, it's 68 degrees.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Sharing Change has donated now over $12 million to local nonprofits. Find out how your spare change can make a big impact at sharingchange.org.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
And welcome back to your second session of the Tuesday morning show with Rick and Wayne. And yep, you're hearing me bringing us back in, not Wayne. He's taking a much-needed vacation, and I'm happy that he's doing that. I don't think, we've been doing this over 4 years. I don't know if Wayne's missed a show.
Wow.
This might be his first, so it's something to say how dedicated that man is.
So I was on his first show, y'all's first show, and then I was his first to miss. So,
you believe that?
Is there some reason for that, do you think?
Got tired of you, maybe? I don't know. He got tired of hearing Class of 89.
That's
We'll
right.
leave it at that.
Right.
But,
that's right.
Hey, coming back in, we're talking about Jeff Kuss, and today is the anniversary of, unfortunately, his death that happened. He was a Blue Angels pilot, and they were practicing down in Smyrna on July 2nd, 10 years ago. And since then, we've been talking about how Smyrna and the community has come together with the memorial that you see down there in Smyrna. If you come anywhere near Sam Ridley and you see that beautiful plane that sits up there on the hill, but it's more faceted than just that plane. It's the other things that's come in behind that with the Kuss run that we have now. It's on 9/11 every year, and then the scholarship program. But let's talk about the scholarships a little bit more, Mary Esther, if you could, and what that goes into that.
So before we kind of move into that, one of the things that we learned during this process was the plane was not permanently ours.
Mm-hmm.
It is on permanent loan, is what it's called. I'm going to let Amber talk a little bit about that. But what we learned was that we had to make sure we upkept the plane to a certain caliber, or they could come and take it back. Well, to do that, we didn't want to use taxpayer dollars. So we were trying to figure out a way, okay, what can we do that will allow us to upkeep the plane? And so we got together, and Brian Hercules was our town manager at the time, and Brian and them, when Brian was in, was it Georgia? I can't remember where he was.
Savannah.
Brian was somewhere, and they did a night run that was really successful. And so we kind of got to thinking about it and throwing some ideas around, and we thought, what a great, because the plane is stunning at night. If you've been there during the day, you know how pretty it is, but you've not seen anything unless you've seen it at night. So, Amber, talk a little bit before we move into the run and the scholarships as to what the requirements are based on our contract of what we have to do.
Sure. So we have a loan agreement essentially with the National Naval Aviation Museum out of Pensacola that has to be renewed every 3 years. We have to keep a bond on the plane just in case we have to return it, that it'll be at no expense, which we don't intend to ever return it. But in maintaining it, you have to, every few years, I have to go out there and take photos of the pedestal. I have to take photos of every side of the plane. They want to make sure that it is in show-ready condition, that there's no rust, that there's no deterioration, that we're keeping the paint up to good standards. So I think it was just, was it 3 years ago now that we repainted the entire plane to the tune, I believe it was $56,000. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it was in that ballpark somewhere. So you think about having to do that every 8 to 10 years, and then also any repairs, not just to the plane itself, but also to any pavers that may deteriorate out there, or there's landscaping. So we just want to make sure that we keep it in good shape for Smyrna, that we maintain the level of integrity that the Naval Aviation Museum and that the military expects from us, but also that we do that without any burden to the taxpayers. So this remains something that is truly burden free that the citizens and everybody can honor and respect on a daily basis.
And so the run came about, but one thing from day one that we have really wanted to do, and Kelly has been such a huge push for this, is a scholarship. And so this will actually be the 7th year of the run this September. And 3 years ago, we were able to start doing scholarships. And so, Kelly, talk a little bit about the scholarships themselves and then also the process that we go through.
Okay. One of the things that really stuck with all of us was Jeff's mother letting us know that just from the very first time I met her was telling us how important education was to Jeff, and how important it was to encourage those kids, and how that was his second favorite thing to flying, was visiting the schools. And on those days that they did that public relation kind of thing, he always ended up with a kid. And he was a big champion of education. So it really, as we've talked about all the process all along, another door opened, another idea, and things fell into place with that pretty easily. You know, once we thought about the race, a great time to honor him, a great time to honor the military, bring everybody together at night when the vibe's a little different. You know, it's lit up, it's exciting. You get people coming from everywhere. People come for this race. You know, it's a 3.71 miles, so you can do it. You know, you can walk some of it and run some of it, and it's open to everyone. And there's, like I said, there's no shame, and there's some diehard runners that you know are really serious about it. But most people can just come in and take their time. You can do it in less than an hour, even if you're walking. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity for people to come together and bring their whole family. And we see that. We see registration every year when I look. I see whole families coming, people pushing strollers. Sometimes they'll beat me. It's disgusting. But it's just been a great process to have that, and then to use that for the for the scholarships. And the scholarships have grown every year with our applicants. We have a wonderful pool of applicants. It's open to Smyrna residents or kids who go to Smyrna schools, and we get those great applications. They're pretty involved, and we've evolved. We've changed that a little bit as time has gone on, and we found good questions to ask them that open them up to kind of sharing with us what's in their heart and what their ambitions are. But that heart piece has a lot to do with who appeals to us and who we want to bring in for interviews. And Janet is such a part of that, Jeff's mom. And the fact that she could take what could be a chapter in her life that she would like to forget, and she could still be so involved in it, all the way down to making sure that she's in on, selecting these kids from so far away. She Zooms us, from Durango, and she's a part of the interviews. And she gets to, she'll ask a follow-up, and when we talk and share, she's got very intimate feelings about these kids and about who really embodies what the scholarship is set up for, which who could know that better than Jeff's mother. So it's just such a great feeling to talk to all these young people from a standpoint of, we all older folks think that the young people are lost, and what are we going to do? How are we ever going to survive? And you meet all these kids, and they just come to you with nothing but all of it in front of them, just the way Jeff was when he started. And you really see that enthusiasm and that excitement, and willing to put themselves out there, out of their comfort zone, to come and sit at the table and talk with the mayor and people they don't know who are, retired educators and all, people, Jeff's mother. That's some pressure. And they've done that beautifully, and it's hard to select. We're not like scrambling for who we're gonna award that scholarship to. It's $6,000 in honor of Jeff's number 6. So we award to 3 different students, $2,000 each, and it's just been pure pleasure. They have when we just took the checks recently. 2 of the girls that we were talking to, I told them what Jeff's mother had to say about them after the interviews. Broke down in tears. They were so excited, and I just really felt like I was witnessing a life-changing moment for these kids that's going to translate into wherever they are, serving their communities and realizing that they got a leg up, they got a step from somebody and that was encouraging and had their backs, and they'll pay that forward and do that as well. So it's been a great opportunity. So thank you to all the people who run that race and promote it, be involved in it, because it goes to making sure the kids have that, and also keeping that plane up, because it is his flagship.
And the nice thing about the scholarship, so Kelly chairs that committee. I'm on the committee. Landy from the Blues, he zooms in, so he's on the committee. Janet is on the committee, and Gary Winton is on the committee, who's at Motlow. And so it is a wonderful committee. I will say it is a lot of work reading those applications because they're all great. But the interesting thing is, it's not always the kid who has the highest GPA and the highest ACT score. One year, there was one student that I don't even know initially was going to make the cut. To get the award, and Janet was like, "That's Jeff." I mean, those were her words. That's Jeff. And so that student received the scholarship, and I'm so glad. So it's not, like I said, it's not always the top one with the highest ACT and all, but so we've been so excited. But the Top Gun night run, I don't know that a lot of people realize it is a ton of work. Amber and Casey and our crew at the town, I mean, really, our committee, how many would you say are on our Top Gun night run committee? Actually, is there maybe 8?
Let's see.
Mike Moss, Jimmy Stitt, Marty Smith,
Alan Brandon,
Heather, you, Casey, me, and Dave.
Yeah. 9
of us are on that committee. Now, once we actually do the event, lots of our departments are involved. But so that race, this will be our 7th one, has raised over $800,000 in the 6 years that we've had the race. So that's pretty spectacular when you think about amount of money raised for an event.
Do you find with like this scholarship program, obviously it blows me away knowing that here his mom is involved in this thing, because you think what she's been through, and that's how you could just stay in the background and shovel away. But I guess that leads to the character of what we hear about Jeff and where he was. And we know now where he got it from is, from his mom and his parents, the way they are involved in that. With how do people, if they want to be a part of this, the run and the walk, or just to donate because they're like me and don't want to run anymore, can that be done?
Sure. Absolutely. And so the nice thing is you can come and just walk and be part of the run. To get the t-shirt and the medal is $50. And you don't even have to participate in the run if you don't want. If you just want the swag and make people think that you've been a part of the run.
Well, let's talk about the little swag that you're talking about.
The little swag that we're talking about is
not so little.
I would call it like Flavor Flav swag for people who don't know. Alan Brandon designs our medals every year. They are, I've not seen better medals anywhere. They are amazing.
So I feel like we need to get that in that running community, because there's people that travel all over the country just to collect the medal that you get for participating.
Well, and we started a couple years ago offering a virtual option where, because we had people reaching out from the Pensacola's, from the Colorado area, and they're like, how can we get this and be involved? So we opened up a virtual option, and Casey and I pack those up and mail them out after the race, so those people can do it on their own time. But yeah, we reach out to, we try to get involved through Fleet Feet, through, the running groups, the local running group pages on social media and things like that. But we're happy to take recommendations on anybody and everybody that we can share this with, because, well, I'll say that, but last year we did sell it out, had to shut it down. I called Mayor, which Mayor's like, can we take a few more? And I finally gotten to the point I was like, Mayor, I don't know that I'm going to have enough medals. So I was like,
I think
over
900 people that signed up.
We've got to shut it down, because we had only ordered, I think it was right at 950 or
950 medals.
Yes,
it was that retro medal last year.
It was that
everybody
retro
wanted
medal.
that 6.
Well, I will say, so if someone wants to be involved, sign-ups are already open. They can sign up through our Facebook or through our website. and they can come be a part of. Even if you don't want to be part of the race, come be involved that night. We have a band. We have Middle Tennessee Electric does their grilled cheeses, and so I mean it is a fun family atmosphere. This year it's going to be on 9/11, and we have a special presentation that we're going to do prior to the start of the race, which will start probably right at about 6 o'clock. And so we encourage people to come down to the start of the race to hear that presentation and some special stuff that we're going to have that's going to go on that we're not sharing yet. And then come just walk the short amount of way up to the memorial, and you can see a great band and have a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
Yep.
We're going to take our second break. You're listening to WGNS Tuesday Morning Roundtable with Rick and Wayne. We'll be right back with you in just a minute.
When it comes to your child's health, you want care that's close, convenient,
and centered around the needs of your family.
At MMC Pediatrics, we're more than just doctors.
We're partners in your parenting journey.
Here for every growth spurt,
for every boo-boo,
every fever, and every flu.
Our team approach means that your child always sees someone that knows them.
We are MMC Pediatrics.
We are right beside you.
Every step of the way.
I'll be right there.
It takes all of us to power a community, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
What's the location of your emergency? I think my kid OD'd.
Hi, I'm Craig Harris. I'm County Commissioner of Rutherford County. One of the reasons I ran for office is because I wanted to bring awareness to the opioid epidemic that's impacting our county. To stop providing this epidemic with people as we educate. We have a lot to do, and we have to come together as a community because this problem is not going away.
This is Hannah Bleem here at the Rutherford County Farmers Market, and we're here to talk to different vendors today.
Hey, this is Hunter Dorton with Mycoterra Pharmacy. We grow gourmet and medicinal mushrooms. We sell fresh mushrooms, dried mushrooms, powders, tinctures, mushroom-infused honey. We sell mushroom coffee, mushroom brew, different tinctures to take as a supplement. We also grow our own herbs, make loose leaf tea, topical salve, and CBD products. So come and check us out at the Rutherford County Farmers Market, and we're happy to be of service to you and help you and get your health journey on the right track.
Thank you so much.
Hello, this is Mike Vaughn of Vaughn's Bermuda Farm, and we come to the farmer's market and we sell 100% grass-fed Angus beef, no grains, steroids, antibiotics, and we sell 100% grass-fed Angus beef, and we look forward to seeing you there.
The Rutherford County Farmers Market open every Friday, 8 to noon, Tuesdays either 7 to noon or 2 to 7.
Stones River Manor, the only faith-based nonprofit home for seniors in Rutherford County.
Everyone is so friendly. They really want to make you happy here.
Stones River Manor offers independent living.
When you get to our age and you live in a house, there's always things that's got to be done. Living here, I don't have to worry about anything.
You don't have a yard to mow. You don't have a roof to repair.
Just what you want to do outside.
Start the journey. They're near the intersection of Haynes Drive and Memorial Boulevard. Online at stonesrivermanor.com.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
And welcome back to your Tuesday morning show with Rick and Wayne. And again, last time Wayne's out today. He's enjoying a great day, but I've had a good backup host today, and I've enjoyed it so far. But got Mary Esther Reed, the mayor of Smyrna, and Amber Hobbs. She's the town clerk, and Kelly Geer, she's a retired principal. You were at Brown's Chapel, right?
Brown's Chapel, Cedar Grove.
And Cedar Grove both. But thank you guys for being here with me. We've been talking to Jeff Kuss, the memorial that he was the Blue Angels pilot that unfortunately lost his life on June the 2nd, 2016 in Smyrna, practicing for our annual, I guess semi-annual air show that we have down in Smyrna. But
and today, if you make it by the memorial today, you will see the number 6 wreath that was placed from sunrise to sunset. So the fire department is great about going and putting that out for us, and so that will be up at the memorial if you want to swing by.
Talk before the break. It's funny because they said the 6, and I think about it when I traded my last truck in to get something new. It kind of messed me up a little bit that I had that 6 sticker on the back of them, and it kind of meant something. And I still see them around a little bit, but it's been 10 years, so a lot of them are going away. I'm just wondering, that swag bag, we reintroduced that. 6
We did
back
last
into.
year. We put fresh number 6 stickers in all of
So
the
you know
Top
what I'm
Gun
talking
night run.
about.
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. We had those, and then we had magnets that you could put on the back of your car, and those, I mean, it was amazing. Everybody wanted one of those on their window or car.
Right,
And you do still see them.
I know, it's
And-
every once in a while I see them, but in a marketing world, they tell you, give you little bugs like that or hooks
Yes.
that starts that conversation. So
Well, and periodically when I'll see them, I'll snap a picture and send it to Janet, and I'll be like, "Hey, we're just thinking about you," you know. And so, but today when I talked to Andrew McKay, who is on air in Pensacola, and so he had kind of been with us through the process, and so we talked again
Hold on.
today, and they shared.
back up a little bit. Tell about that. So through this, you've developed a relationship with even a radio station that's in Pensacola. Since
correct.
This has happened in the last 2
And
years.
it just so happened, and see, these are those weird moments. His stepdad lived in Murfreesboro, and so we got together, and he even came down and saw the memorial, and so we talked again today, and we've not talked probably in 8 years. Probably the last time we talked was when we actually did the dedication. And so we talked again today, and they had shared the documentary, and there is just such a tie still between Pensacola and the town of Smyrna. But he was talking about the 6s, seeing them in Pensacola as well. And so sometimes I'll see pictures, and you'll see people in their shirts with their 6 on, like Amber has. Yeah. And so there's just that camaraderie, the word that I want to use, maybe, that it ties us together in a very unique way. And one of the things, I mean, it still gives me chills when I think about it. In the documentary, Janet says, if Jeff knew he was going to die, I think he would have chosen Smyrna. And to hear a mama say that says that we have a pretty special community, and we have a pretty loving community, and there's been a bond that's been formed because of that. And I think that those that flew with Jeff, those that flew that day, I think the town of Smyrna could have been a place they never wanted to visit again, because it brought back bad memories and bad feelings.
Sure.
And I think our community changed that. Our community said, this is not what we want to be remembered for. We want to be remembered for coming together and doing something really special for Jeff, for the Blue Angels, for veterans, and for active military. And I think that's what you see and what you feel when you go to the memorial. So that's the way I feel. I don't know if others feel
Absolutely.
that way, but
And I think those sentiments are reflected, you know, through the Kuss family too, spending some time with them and communicating with them, usually on a weekly basis here as of recently. But I just think the way they feel about Smyrna, it is truly come full circle, like Mary Esther said, from a place that was so sad and filled with such tragedy to now it's something that's so spectacular, and a place that's comforting for them, and feels like home for them. Here just recently, Janet has a flagpole at her house in Durango, and she has had a flag from the dedication flying for the last almost 10 years now. And when I was out there, she said, Amber, is there any way, do you have any more of those flags left? She was like, and I said, you know what, we actually do. And so I took a few flags that we had left over from the dedication, and I sent those out to her. So they're still flying a Smyrna flag right there at their house in Durango.
When we actually had the Titans that were doing well, sometimes she would text, and it was like that Tennessee was their second team. They would get so excited because they felt like Tennessee was their second home. So that makes me feel good that they feel that way.
And now when you drive along there, you have a line both sides of the road with flags.
That's our new thing this year. We've been wanting to do that since the dedication. We actually had borrowed the flags from the Healing Field when we did the dedication 8 years ago, but we actually got through a grant this year, 250 American flags. So now on your patriotic holidays, you're going to see 250 flags lining Sam Ridley Parkway right there in front of Lee Victory Recreation Park, because we want people to understand that the town of Smyrna is patriotic, and we take the military seriously in our town.
And Rick, I want you to know, I did not put those flags out. I know I do a lot of things, but the Parks Department put those flags out.
Well, they're hard to do. I've done through Rotary, because we line the entrance to Rotary over at the airport.
Yes.
We used a Boy Scout troop, but they
so
would
you make
come
the
out.
Boy Scouts do it.
Well, there'd be a couple showed up. But to get them in a timely manner, you kind of offer one off. And if you want a little rain before it happens.
That's
I'm
right.
just going to tell you.
That's
It's kind of
exactly
like campaign signs. We were in a drought.
Sure.
To put
it's
a
awful.
campaign sign in. It was pretty tough.
That can be horrible, brutal.
But hey, give us the website and things. We're coming against the end of this deal, so I want to make sure if somebody wants a paver, if you've been out there and would like to see your name or your family or somebody
that you want to honor.
Yep, exactly. Absolutely. So you can find paver information on the Captain Jeff Kuss USMCmemorial.com website. You can also find that information through the townofsmyrna.org website, or anybody is welcome to reach out to me directly. My email address is amber.hobbs, H-O-B as in boy, B as in boy, S as in Sam, at townofsmyrna.org. And we still have pavers available out there, or I can direct you on how you can get involved with the Top Gun Night Run, whether it be as a runner or as a sponsor.
Amber, before we wrap up, I'd like for you to share with the listeners what Christina, who is Jeff's widow, sent after the documentary.
Sure.
And I hope people will take time to go watch the documentary. Brian said that y'all had posted it on WGNS, but they also can see it. It's pinned at the top of the Town of Smyrna Facebook page. You also can see it there as well. So,
all right. So after watching, we sent the documentary to the Kuss family a couple days before we released it for a few reasons, but for them to be able to, ingest it and sit with it for a minute. So Christina followed up with a text message that says, the impact the documentary has had on us the last few days is tremendous and hard to articulate. I am overwhelmed with love in the most beautiful way I think is possible for a human being to experience. Jeff was so special. You all are that special too. His love lives through you all, and I felt it in my bones. Thank you could never adequately cover how deep the gratitude and love are flowing from my family and so many people who loved our big guy. You all are an absolute treasure, Smyrna. She went on to say thank you for showing my kids a little more of their papa than they've been able to see since, these last 10 years. And they were very young. So it's helped Calvin and Sloan and Janet and everybody, I think, just providing that little piece of closure and connection that they're missing over the last 10 years.
And I just want to say to everybody who's been involved, whether you sent money, your time, effort, thank you for turning a tragedy into a treasure, because that's what the Captain Jeff Kuss Memorial is. It is a treasure in our community, and one that I hope that all of the citizens of the town of Smyrna are proud of.
I am too as well. I'm happy to see them for Smyrna. There's with the change of the world and the world we live in today, just little things like this mean a lot to me.
Me too.
Everybody, I hope you enjoyed our show today. And again, please reach out, go through the Town of Smyrna's webpage, or Jeff Kuss. It's Kuss, by the way. You're wondering how we're saying his last